In today's analysis, we're going to unpack something truly fascinating. We pass by massive, heavy machinery on the roads and construction sites all the time, right? But we rarely give a second thought to the incredible physics happening right beneath the surface. So, we're going to break down the invisible engineering behind one of the most recognizable movements in construction, the lifting of the back part of a dumper truck. Seriously, have you ever wondered how the back part of a dumper truck actually lifts up? It's one of those questions that seems so simple on the surface. We see a truck bed loaded with literal tons of heavy rocks, dirt, or gravel, and then, almost effortlessly, that massive bed tilts backward and empties its load. I mean, it looks like magic, but obviously it's pure brilliant engineering. How exactly does a machine generate that kind of concentrated directional force? Well, the answer lies in a hidden, perfectly synchronized loop of mechanical and fluid power. Section 1. Starting the chain reaction. Okay, let's dive into this sequence of events. To understand how that immense weight is hoisted into the air, we've got to go back to the very beginning. Remember, nothing in heavy machinery happens in isolation. It's always a sequence of perfectly timed events. It's basically a giant domino effect where one small action cascades into an enormous physical output. And the trigger for all of this? It's surprisingly simple. The driver just turns on the tipper lever. Think about that for a second. The catalyst for lifting thousands of pounds of raw material isn't some massive external crane. Nope. It's a single, calculated motion from the human sitting inside the cabin. As soon as the driver flips that specific switch, the truck's internal systems awaken, and the entire heavy lifting protocol is officially a go. Literally the millisecond that lever is flipped, it activates a really crucial component, the PTO, or power takeoff. Now, what does that do? Well, the PTO connects directly to the truck's engine. When the driver engages the lever, the PTO essentially grabs the rotational energy that the engine is already generating, and it diverts it. It takes that raw, roaring engine power and uses it to start spinning the hydraulic pump. So the engine is basically lending its incredible strength to the lifting mechanism. Pretty clever, right? Section 2, the power of hydraulics. Things are about to speed up here. This right here is where mechanical rotation becomes raw, heavy lifting power. The speed and energy within the truck's internal systems are rapidly building up now. First, the PTO starts spinning that hydraulic pump. Then, that spinning pump aggressively shoves hydraulic oil at an incredibly high pressure. And finally, that highly pressurized oil is forced directly into the telescopic hydraulic cylinders. And this brilliantly illustrates the domino effect in action. It's a perfect, uninterrupted transfer of kinetic energy, going from engine rotation to the pump to high-pressure fluid and straight into the lifting cylinders. And so the pressure inside the system just rapidly builds. You really have to imagine the sheer physical force of this hydraulic oil. It's not just gently flowing along like a stream, it is a high-pressure force aggressively pushing its way into the system. The oil gets trapped inside the closed environment of those telescopic hydraulic cylinders. Imagine a tightly coiled spring, but made entirely of liquid. As the pump continues to relentlessly push more and more oil into that confined space, well, the pressure has absolutely nowhere to go but up. It's this concentrated source of fluid energy just bursting to be released. So what happens when that pressure reaches its absolute peak? Because of that immense, unyielding pressure, the cylinders are forced to extend. They start sliding out one by one, kind of like a massive, collapsible pirate's spyglass. As these cylinders push outward, expanding sequentially just to make room for all that high-pressure oil, they physically force the massive dumper body to lift up into the air. This is the ultimate climax of the entire mechanical chain reaction. The engine, the PTO, the pump, and the oil have all flawlessly worked together to effortlessly hoist that colossal load skyward. Section 3, Gravity and the Reset. Time to bring things back down to Earth. Okay, so we've just witnessed this chaotic, high-pressure environment violently pushing a massive weight into the air. But now, the system has to calmly reset itself back to its original resting state. Contrast the explosive energy of that lift with the lowering phase. Once the load is completely emptied, the driver simply returns the lever back to its starting position. And by just doing that, the system opens up and that highly pressurized hydraulic oil suddenly reverses its flow. It drains backward, leaving the cylinders and flowing safely right back into its holding tank. And as the oil vacates that space, the pressure entirely drops. The cylinders slowly, gently retract. They just slide right back inside. And as they deflate, gravity takes over the heavy lifting, so to speak, and the massive dumper body peacefully comes down, returning to its original position. All that frantic, aggressive energy of the lift is completely gone, replaced by the smooth, quiet settling of the machine. It's now perfectly primed to start the exact same loop all over again for the very next load. And that's the complete engineering behind the lifting of a dumper truck. A simple, perfectly designed loop of mechanical energy and fluid dynamics, all triggered by one single lever. It really makes you look differently at the world around you, doesn't it? Which leads me to the question I want to leave you with. What other invisible engineering marvels are hidden inside the massive machines we pass on the road every single day? The next time you see a heavy construction vehicle hard at work, I encourage you to look past the dirt and the noise and try to spot the brilliant hidden physics making it all possible.